Okay, so here we are today with another Inspired Good Fat Life podcast. And I'm so excited for our special guest today who flew in from California to be here. And she's having a little pause with the cold Michigan winter. And it's not really even winter yet, but that's okay. And so before I introduce her and we get started, I just want to bring your attention to our beautiful magazine, Inspired Good Fat Life, and all these delicious good fats that we have on the cover. And you can go to our website at goodfatlife.com and see this digitally, or you can get a subscription delivered right to your home. So, yeah. So
I like mine that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So with, a warm, your favorite beverage and curled up and reading all things good fat life. So on that happy note, I want to introduce our guest. It's Dr. Valerie René Sheppard, and she has a lot of really fascinating things to say about living the good fat life.
Yes.
So I will let you start, Valerie.
Well, I think we were having fun on the way over here talking about fat, F-A-T, and fat, P-H-A-T. And I think it's a great time, holiday time, to call your audience into an awareness of those two words coming together with this brand and this magazine and everything that the Good Fat Life organization is doing. And that fat life is a really great thing. And to how to focus on it from a high vibration versus a low vibration.
So tell me more.
Well, we were talking about, the holiday season can sometimes bring up sorrows and regrets. It's the end of the year, and some people get into the space of what they don't have and what they miss and what they wish, like in a sort of a longing, I wish this had been different. And as you know, we did my epic birthday celebration in October and went to Jamaica last year. It was an epic trip, and that's exactly what I wanted. I planned it. I invited people. People said yes. It was wicked. And there was somebody very special who wasn't able to make it. And she is my oldest and dearest friend. And what was going on then turned into less than a year later, she was gone. She got sick and left the planet. And this idea of her birthday's next week and being in the space of longing and lack and limitation doesn't really serve me, and it doesn't really serve her or her memory, because she was so full of life and joyful. And so in this time, the fat life, like how do you create the fat life? And so I would encourage everyone to think about is the high vibration is about what is present, what I want to create. Focus on what you want, not what you don't have or what you don't want. And we sort of do that automatically. Like we can automatically go into, oh, I don't want to get this, or, oh, I don't want to see that, instead of, oh, I want this. I was doing it even with myself. Go ahead.
Right. No, but we were talking about that on our way back from the airport last night, right?
Yeah.
Is how easy it is to fall into that and then catch ourselves. But I think as we become more aware of
Wake up.
Of what, and we like to say here, living the good fat life, what that really looks like when we slide into that, like, my grandchildren live in other parts of the country, right? They're like this. Mm-hmm. And my parents are on the West Coast. It could be easy to say, oh, I'm so sad to not be with you for the holidays, but we get to choose.
Right. And what feels better? It's like going for feeling good is okay. It actually is essential to creating the life that you really want to live, that fat life. It's essential to focus on what we want, what's going to make us feel good or actually better or best. I notice this even in myself. I've got this disability happening on my right side from a brain hemorrhage a few years ago. And I have learned to lean on my left side and to stand on my left side. and my left side gets tired. It's been carrying the whole thing for a while now. And so I could hear myself saying, don't stand on that hip. It's very simple. Don't stand on that hip. And I wasn't changing my behavior with that phrase. So I started saying, I'm standing on my right hip. Instead of what I don't want to do, I'm anchoring in what it is I want to do. And even just saying that, I'm standing on my right hip, it's given me this empowerment, this empowered feeling of I'm choosing what I want. I'm letting my body hear me tell it in loving manner. I need you to activate on this right side. And I'm giving my left side the break that it needs. And I feel like I'm propelling myself forward. So you said one of the most important things. It just requires us to notice ourselves. Who are you being when you think you're being you? Like, let's notice, where is the impulse that drove the thought that supported those words coming out of my mouth and the feelings that were associated with those words? And is that really serving me? It's not about good or bad or right or wrong.
Right.
It's serving me to have what I want.
And what you just said is at the heart of it all. You got curious, right? It's that curiosity. When we can be curious by asking the question, I was just reading a study about it this last week. We light up our neurological system, our brain patterns, and they say, because we're wired to answer questions.
Hallelujah.
So it's a tactic. I'm going to make that my 2023. I'm going to paste it everywhere. Get curious.
Curiosity.
Ask the question.
It's one of my favorite words. And in the concept of living an inspired life, there are a couple things that are essential. And curiosity brings that essential nature of curiosity brings the other things to bear.
Right.
The curiosity goes, why do I do it this way? So who are you being when you think you're being you? Is this really me? Or is this some learned, conditioned pattern of behavior that I've been asleep at the wheel of my life and haven't noticed? It's not serving me. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It doesn't matter even where it came from.
Right,
What's important is
it's
that
not
we
a judgment.
No, exactly. There's no denigration of the past. It's not about making somebody wrong who showed you it was this way. It's just about, in the present moment, is this what I want?
Right.
That's all. And go for the good stuff. So the curiosity makes us kind of, what is that? And then after the curiosity comes the most important element, the choice. It's conscious, like having a fat life, whether it's about yummy or it's about yummy in a different way, it is about choice. It is about using your innate power to choose and to choose from a high vibration. Now, that last part sometimes is where people can go wrong. That's where I've gone wrong too. The choosing from a high vibration means part of it is remembering the goal, where you're going and not where you've been. And the other part is, if where you've been keeps coming up and raging and dragging you off track, then deal with that. What is it that you have to do to heal and forgive the past? Like, call it lightening up and letting go. Lighten up and let go. If, there are things in my past that drag me down. They trigger me to think about things that aren't contributing to me getting where I'm wanting to go. That takes a pause. In some ways, it takes a pause. I always have a spiritual counselor. I have people that I can talk to from an objective level to free me from those things so that I am making choices from a high vibration. And I can hear that siren song of my higher self calling to me from the inside. And then that makes it much easier to choose what's going to serve me in the future.
So, but you, in that, it was a question, right? What do I need to let go of? What's dragging me down?
What's going on right now?
Yeah.
Why do I feel this way?
Right.
We were having a conversation in the car yesterday about a relationship that I was getting some, I don't know, I call it mixed signals. There's a part of me that loves this person and there's a part of me that's afraid of this person. And isn't sure about, like, I can feel the energy of like crunching down, and that's important, Sherri, whether we're talking about FAT or PHAT, the body.
I was just going to say that our bodies tell us so much all day long,
Girlfriend,
right?
Yes,
right.
I want to give me some high five on that. Yes, the body really is a communicator that can steer us correctly. I'll say when we tune in and take the advice we're getting. So when I feel this contraction away from something, I know that my body's trying to help me see maybe that's not what you want. When I feel the contraction, when it is something I want, I know there's some dichotomy going on there. It's some noise in my signal that I need to straighten out. And thank goodness for the body. And I encourage everyone to get in tune with it. A little 5-minute meditation of just deep breathing and listening. Where do you feel tension? Where do you feel tingling? Where do you feel heat or cold? Where do you feel something other than the machinations of the mental mind?
It's, I mean, I guess in my past, when I hear those things, I've always been, yeah, whatever. It's so simple and blah, blah, blah. And when I have actually, and breathing, people will say, just breathe, this 4-part breathing is so powerful. And I'm, like, whatever, sure. But the truth is, it is incredibly powerful, right?
It is.
And our bodies are trying to talk to us. They're talking to us all day long.
Well, yes.
And it takes us being mindful to say, oh, what are you saying to me?
Well, and think about how many times when we talk about a fat life. So to me, like a real definition of PHAT life would be living in total harmony with the universe. So understanding universal laws and how they're at play, and then dancing in the rhythm of that keeps you in flow, like enough of the struggle and strive. And when we're hooked into struggle and strive, what happens with our bodies is we're fighting them. So an example of struggle and strive is I work 16-hour days. Like, whose body really wants that? And how many times during that 16-hour day did the body ask for something? More water, get up and take a break, a little movement, a nap. Like, are we serving our bodies? If there are times when the life we're creating and like birthing into being requires that work, that contribution of effort and energy, we need to do it. I encourage and invite you, do that, and do it in a way that you are supporting yourself wholly, WHOLLY. And that means your body has to be supported as much as the document or the business or the family or the team. As much as we give to those things, we have to start here. All love starts with self-love. And inside self-love is self-awareness and self-care.
Right. That is so important, right?
Absolutely.
It's just, and there again, it sounds so simple, right? So simple, and also it can be so whatever. We hear self-love, we hear self-care. They become almost like just, words that are out there all the time. But the truth is, they matter.
Yeah. And I believe that they've become a part of the vernacular coming out of the pandemic and going through the pandemic, when so many people were in isolated experiences. It really does become a turning inward, like turn your eyes inward and turn your attention and your focus inward and listen. And it does become kind of meh, meh, meh. And it can stay that way. And if the body has something to tell you, it's going to tell you. And one way or the other. And I would suggest you don't want the 2x4.
Exactly.
The 2x4 is not great when it slaps you upside the head and lets you know, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't listening. And I didn't give my body what it asked for. And now my body's letting me know in a louder voice, whatever we resist persists. So if we're telling our bodies to sit down and shut up because we got to get on with it, not so good.
Right. So I always loved, there was an Oprah talk once where she said, first it'll be that little whisper. Yeah, exactly. And then it's like a little louder.
Excuse me.
And she said, and ultimately it's going to be that brick upside the head.
Wake up! Yeah,
exactly. And I have to say, in my life, when I haven't paid attention, I've always regretted it. Right? I always said, and so now and I don't know if it's being older or just more experienced or just, I don't want to have these conversations with myself anymore. I really do want to pay attention and do those things that are proactive versus reactive.
Very true. And I, as I've been studying this and I look at it, right, I think part of the issue could be generational. When I was growing up, it was, you beat your body into submission. I ran track and I played soccer and I was doing a lot of athletics before there was a Title IX for girls' sports. And, it was kind of brutal and somewhat brutish. It was very, I control you, the separation of the mind versus the physical matter in which the mind resides, the body. I control you. And that's a wrestling match. And what we're talking about today, what we're inviting and encouraging you to do is to be in partnership, like to see yourself in partnership on the same team, playing the same game at the same time with your body. And the wholeness that comes, it's from the alignment of it all coming together. It's the only way we can flow. It's the only way we can flow.
And I just took a course this past week, and it was around flow at work. And one of the concepts that they talked about is our mind is like an elephant, right? You've probably heard this, is our mind's like an elephant. And then there's this little tiny rider that's up on the top of the elephant because about 5% of our mind's conscious and the rest is subconscious. And so our task, if you will, is to have that rider controlling the elephant. And we do that. One of the ways we do that is, again, through getting curious, is being, so whenever anything comes up, a challenge, whatever it is, it's like, or a stomach ache. What can I do? Or how can we move this to our good fat life?
Exactly.
Fits. And I just thought it was it's so interesting because how all these concepts, they come back to the same thing, right? It's awareness.
Exactly. And I really did like, so stomach ache, which may or may not happen this time of year because of what you're putting in your mouth. And for me, it's a lot of yummy things. I'm a foodie, so I don't to say this consciously, I don't choose in many occasions to discipline myself around food. I just want it. I'm a seafood and eat it gal. So this idea of a stomach ache is a perfect example. Instead of saying, I have a stomach ache, and do what you can to get it to shut up, start asking, hello, stomach ache, lean in, talk to the stomach ache. What did you come to tell me? What is it that's going on? Is it what I ate? Is it what I'm thinking? Is it what I'm feeling? And to be able to be in a relationship that is a give and take instead of a give, pound, pound, pound. You will do as I say. It's not, and it's not that kind of a controlling relationship, and that it needs to be a cycle of reciprocity with the body. I
love that.
Love that.
Yeah.
And this time of year, and let's think about some of the things that happen at this time of year, the sorrows that come up and the regrets. It's the end of the year. Even without the holidays, people are looking at their plans and did I make my goal? And did I do what I said I wanted to do? For me, there's this dynamic around goal weight, and there's also this dynamic around healing the body and a dynamic about attracting the sweetie pie. There are a number of things that are on the quote unquote plan, Valerie's plan for the year, and they're not always coming to fruition the way my mental machinations would like them to. And so to be able to be in relationship with my life, with my co-creations with the universe in a loving, not a judgmental, but a loving evaluation. And if you're at this time of year and you're feeling a little more about what you wish was here that isn't, and what's been lost that can't be gotten back, to move yourself into a higher vibration, you would make peace with that. And so that means you send yourself forgiveness. I didn't make my goal, and I forgive myself for that. I was doing so many other things, and those things were good, and they contributed to my life and to my community and to the world. And I forgive myself. And I love where I am and what's coming next. Like, move yourself into a high vibration by accepting and allowing what is, and then moving into gratitude and appreciation. And you will feel the difference. The minute you say, oh, I so appreciate that, you will feel a difference. Your heart opens up. You feel a little bit more light. The heaviness kind of recedes. And that's what you want to do in this time, this time of year, any other time of year, when you feel the low vibration energy, not good or bad, right or wrong, just not the highest vibration. So not serving you to flow into where you're going. And it's not about ignoring it and pretending it doesn't exist, because that's a form of resistance.
Right.
It's about embracing it. If that means I cry all day, I talk to some people who say, I can't let myself go there because I don't know if I'll ever stop crying. I'm like, I guarantee you'll stop crying. If you let yourself cry, you probably will cry less than you think you're going to. Just allow yourself to flow with yourself.
Right. So all excellent. So on that, I want to just take a moment and do a shout out for one of my very favorite self-care practices, right? It's Snedicor's Cleaners. And they have pickup. It's all pickup and delivery. And the text comes in, I text and say, I need a pickup. And within, it could be the same day or 3 days later, my laundry, my linens, my whatever, are all ready and on my doorstep.
Do they have a California office?
I know.
I'm ready. Give me that. Give me.
But you say that, and it sounds like it's so simple, but you think of how much of our time and energy goes into our clothing, and this time of year, like tablecloths, linens, all of those things, comforters, whatever, and they make it so easy.
And I tell you what, in the energy of Phat life, Phat life, one of the beauties of Phat life is contributing to others while we're contributing to ourselves. And so I love to pay for convenience, because that means I'm taking the blessings that I have in my wallet and my bank account, and I'm blessing someone else to bless me. So I love paying for services and getting the kind of service that Snedicor provides. Come to my house, pick everything up, and I'm done with it.
Well, just even having guests, it takes so much stress away. And the other part of it is Snedicor's as a company gives back so much to the community, and every cleaning bit that they do is environmentally friendly. And so on, 10 points that I care about, that's who they are as a company. So you're right. I want to support them and their success, because it contributes to the greater good and makes the world a better place.
That's what we call a ripple effect. And where I can do one small thing, and it can have a ripple effect across much larger community that I myself wouldn't have been able to touch.
I love that. So on that happy note, Valerie, is there any one thing that you want to say to our listeners as we kind of wrap up and get on with living our good fat life?
Yes. Okay, I would love to send you off with this idea. One of my favorite quotes is from a Roman guy named Seneca. It's from way, 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 way back. It's actually the quote that's the signature on my emails. And it's, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. That means get out of your comfort zone. The magic in your life is outside of where you feel the most comfortable. Challenge yourself, learn some new things, expand. And then you'll see the places, the curiosity about the places and the things that you're doing and the ways that you're thinking and the ways that you're being that actually may feel comfortable, but are no longer serving you. And that's where the upside is. And many, many, many blessings.
Oh, so, well, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Valerie René Sheppard. And we'll have, if people want to get in contact with you, because you do some amazing things in coaching and work that you do. And we'll have all of that on our show notes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love being here with you, Sherri. You're like one of my favorite people on the planet. I love Good Fat Life, what this brand is here for and what people can get from it. And I'm grateful to be able to play and support it and you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And don't forget, go to goodfatlife.com to hear more, see more, and be inspired.
Live fat, y'all. Fat. Live fat. Do it. Happy holidays.